get to choose. Well, we're just going to take a moment to take the moment and to just acknowledge that we've all arrived here, ready to spark our fires, to take a breath together as we consider the full moon, the truth, and everything that's happening. And with all of that in mind, we're just going to take the biggest, deepest breath you've taken all day and bring it all the way down into the belly. And then let's naturally let that fall out. And just taking another breath now and working towards the belly space. Feeling it expand. And then feeling it also retract as the breath lets go. The natural in and out, and just adding a little bit of emphasis to bring more breath into the body, deeper into the belly, as a way of grounding us down into this moment, into this now, into this truth. Now, with your amazing imagination and your mind's eye, see down in your belly just a little fire. A little fire that's sitting there, and it's your fire. You've created it, and it's your fire of truth. It's your fire of purpose. It's your fire of your why. And it's just gently sitting down there in your belly. Now, over the next 3 breaths, we're going to add some inspiration, our spirit, and some fresh air and oxygen to those fires in our bellies, so that we can spark those fires so they get larger and brighter and filled with all of our ideas and our inspirations. So taking in a big, deep breath all the way into the belly, all the way down into that fire, and see your breath expand the fire in your belly. And then as you let the breath go, your spark, your fire is coming out into cyberspace and sharing with all of us. Using your amazing imagination, you can see that fire grow with each breath in and being shared as you release. And now taking again the biggest, deepest breath you've taken all day, even deeper than you thought you could, to give the final spark to that fire in your belly, and to just then let it go, to bring it into space, to bring it into connection, and to bring it into this community for this moment now, our Thursday Fearless Chat, where we're going to be sparking some more fire. Welcome, everybody.
Unmute myself. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fearless Chat 14. Thank you so much, Deborah, for grounding us on planet Earth here in our virtual space where we are all gathering. This is the 15th time, although Fearless Chat 14, that we have gathered in this virtual space. My name is Eduardo Placer. I'm the founder of Fearless Communicators. We're a dynamic and inclusive public speaking coaching business, and we work with thought leaders on what they say and how they say it. And what emerged as I was exiled from New York, at first in San Francisco, then in Boulder, Colorado, and now in Miami Beach, was in the initial lostness of that experience that I found myself unable to get home and figuring out what was next. I knew that I could lean on my amazing community of fearless clients and who think about the things that are top of mind in this moment, and create a space for them to share their expertise and have a forum for us to engage on the questions and topics that are top of mind. In that journey, we've done everything from cybersecurity and how to protect ourselves when we're all working at home, to heart-centered sales, to Deborah last time spoke about grief and how to allow grief into your home and in this moment. I spoke about storytelling and what's the story that you're telling now. And last Tuesday, or yes, 2 days ago, we celebrated the 4-year anniversary of our international women's program called Fearless Force, Public Speaking for Visionary Women Leaders, which some of the women here are graduates of that program. We have now, over the past 4 years, done 19 programs in 7 cities on 3 continents with over 100 women. And a statistic that I'm really proud of is 46% of those women are diverse. And what we do is we work with these women. They show up on a Saturday, and then on Thursday, they share their truth in front of an audience. And what we're going into now with this next cycle of Fearless Chats are featuring 4 of our fearless women. And Barbara Sennrich is the first one. And this session, these 4 in the series are called Spark, Shift, Ship, and Shine. So it begins with a spark, which is what Barbara is here to talk about. And then Tiffany Brown, who's in the box, if you just want to wave, Tiffany, she's going to lead the conversation next week, which is around shift. What do you do in that moment of pivot? Now, there are various many ways in which we're pivoting right now. It could be a new product. It could be a new business, right? So how do we take the moment to do that? Then Amy Noel is going to speak about getting shit done. And then the last one is how do we bring shine to what we're creating? So this is all part of a celebration of our women and also their expertise. I first met Barbara Sennrich at Soul Camp, which is a sleepaway camp for adults that we were both at. And then she participated in our 5th Fearless Force program in New York back in 2018, I want to say. And then I also had the privilege of being, of what we worked one-on-one on a keynote, a piece of which you will be witnessing today, which is this iSpark methodology. Now, Barbara, her background is in internal communications, primarily for pharmaceutical companies, and she is woke as F, and just someone who has been on the work on her own self, on how she shows up on service in the planet in a way that is embodied and holistic and in integrity. You are just one of the most joyous, radiant people that I have the privilege to know. You're a yes to possibility, and I just absolutely adore you, and I'm just so thrilled that we get to be on this journey together. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Barbara Sennrich. Yes!
Oh, amazing. If you guys ever want to be feel good after introduction, get Eduardo to introduce you, because there is nothing more beautiful. It's really amazing. Awesome.
So we're gonna honey, yes.
So yeah, that Fearless Force talk, that was really a pivotal moment in my life, because I showed up. I knew there was something that I was missing. I knew I was supposed to be doing something else, but I wasn't quite sure what it was. And then that weekend, it got doulaed out of me by questioning what's important, what's happened in your life, And I had this realization. I was in this workplace environment where I was bending over backwards, trying to fit in, not feeling able that I was able to show up as my whole true self. And that really sparked the idea of, oh my God, we have to show up as who we are, so we feel a purpose and in what we do. And if we are allowed to do that, then we can also be the best employees that we possibly can be. And then it evolved into, we also have to create work cultures that are conducive for us to show up as who we are in the world. Yeah, that's how iSpark Our Fire got birthed in a way over the process of 2 years. And I was telling Eduardo and Deborah just before you guys came on the call that this week it dawned on me, holy shit, I am living exactly the life that I have wanted to create for myself. In my job, internal communications, right now, what's happening in the world, I'm writing my CEO's email, being able to be empathetic and showing up as a fucking person, as we say, and just showing who he is and being in this together. So that makes me very happy. on Tuesday, I'm co-hosting something called the Culture Collective New York chapter group. So I'm getting people together, so we talk about corporate cultures and how we build them and how can we make them good. And today, now I get to talk about I Spark Our Fire, and this is mind-blowing. And 2 years ago, I would have never, ever imagined that this was possible. So I'm really thrilled to share this with you guys.
Yes.
Amazing. Good. So maybe just, I want to spend a moment. I do want to take you through this whole approach. And just want to mention, I want to share with you, I Spark Our Fire in itself stands for I have to take responsibility to bring my whole best self to work. But our fire speaks to, there is a community. And because we don't live as individuals just by ourselves, we're always part of something bigger. It's like the fire is something communal. It has this, it's been around for ages, right? And Eduardo always talks about how we get to the fire, we come sit around the fire and we tell our stories. So it's really ingrained in us. So I Spark Our Fire stands for I contribute to something larger, but I have to take responsibility. And yes, the approach was originally designed for people in the workplace, but really it doesn't matter. It's applicable to any situation in life. And right now we have to ignite our own spark, and we have to show up as who we are with our strength and what we're passionate about, so we can shine and we can speak that truth, right? That Deborah was talking about, so we can go out and share. And so the approach is, in itself, it has a meaning that I Spark Our Fire, but it also, that's every single step throughout, every letter is also a step throughout the approach. So I stands for identity, S stands for strength, P stands for passion, A stands for action, R stands for roar, and K stands for kindness. And I am going to take you through that approach, and I would love for you to do it with me. It's not going to be full blown, so it may feel a little bit rushed, and maybe, and I would hope that you think, oh, I wish I had a little bit more time to really think about this more, but we can get you a worksheet afterwards so you can go through it at your own time.
And part of this is going to be embodied. So we're going to be getting into our bodies, right? And if you, I know Heidi has her pencil active and ready, right? So if you have like a sheet of paper and a pen, there may be things to write down, and or we can also activate and use the chat. So if you are present and you are able to be on video, I think this is one of the opportunities that it really works to be so. And if not, we again receive you fully, knowing that in this context, people are possibly multitasking and managing many things at the same time. So let's get this party started, Barbara.
Awesome. All right, so everyone get up. And yes, there will be embodiment. So start with pumping up your arms. And this move is called celebrate. So I really want you to feel your feet firmly on the ground, but your arms are up in the sky. Great. So we're getting into our bodies and connecting with what's within us already, but we want to give that inner truth some voice. So I invite you to repeat after me. I ignite my spark.
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 Yes, I ignite my spark.
I ignite my spark.
And I love to hear the feedback. That's amazing.
Mute everybody so we can all say it. I'm going to mute everybody so we all say it together. Okay?
That's perfect.
Did that work?
Right.
That didn't work.
It didn't work?
I'm trying to unmute everybody, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Oh, I can hear you guys.
Okay, everyone unmute
yourself.
Everyone unmute yourself. Here we go. I ignite my spark, Barbara. Let's do it.
Okay, so circle your arms towards you. There's a lot of call and response. Circle your arms. Good. Bringing it in. Now we say, my whole best self.
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 My
Whole best self.
Beautiful. My whole best self.
My whole
Whole best self.
Nice. And now I just want you to think about a time when you were your whole best self. Think about the time when you were maybe a little kid and you had a big, big dream. And for you, it wasn't a question of whether it's possible, but just when is it going to happen? When were you courageous and fearless and you went for it and you weren't already conditioned by the shoulds and maybe I can't do that, when you were really a little kid and you just went for it. So think about a moment in time. See what's coming up for you. So really going back to that identity, who you truly, truly are, connecting to that. Keep circling those arms, bringing it in. All right, shake it out, shake it out. If you want to take a moment to either take a note of that, or maybe you want to answer it in the chat, to just materialize that moment of identity, of who you truly are.
I'm curious for you, Barbara. What was that? Everyone else, if you want to take a moment and write down what that moment was for you, what's the moment for you?
For me?
Yeah.
I have many moments, but certainly that one moment that I'm also talking in my keynote, when I went out, I was a little girl and I always have that vision of me of being like a successful businesswoman who has an impact on her employees and who is this nurturing lady who will create an environment for her people to grow.
That's so beautiful. For me, I had this moment of walking down the street in Miami and just singing at the top of my lungs. It was a musical, and like imagining that everybody was going to join in and sing along with me, but nobody did. You know, but in my mind, I was like living in some musical theater kind of land. So would love to know, you know, and to use that as a moment for people to reflect in the chat if there was that moment. Did you want us to sit down, or do you want us to still standing?
No. We're staying. We'll be staying for the whole thing.
We're standing. Okay, I'm standing.
We're standing. I'm still standing.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Awesome. Good. That's the whole approach. Like we're embodying that. We're bringing out what's already within us that may be dormant. That moment of truth. We're awakening that through the embodiment and through the movement and through like also activating our voice to really focus on that and create the space for it.
So just so you hear, Ray says, I was flying a kite on a clear day and I felt as if I was flying. And Tiffany says, when I received a scholarship to school and walked across the campus with new friends for the first time. Deb, when she manifested her role as a student action leader of her high school. Yeah, so I'm loving all these things that are showing up, and we're just like honoring all of that power in you that is being manifested and written here. Yes.
Love it. All right, are we ready to move on to the next step?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so the next step is strength. And so we're doing the movement strong, which is single punches. Nice. It's a badass move. It's really awesome. And here we say, I activate my strength.
I activate my
strength.
I activate my strength.
I activate my strength.
I activate my strength.
I activate my strength.
I activate my strength.
I activate my strength.
Beautiful. So now think about your strength. Think about what comes naturally to you. What are you good at? And sometimes it's hard to think about that for ourselves, but what are maybe friends complimenting you on it? What do other people say that you're good at? When are you naturally in the flow? What's coming to mind? Don't overthink it. Just what are the first things? What do you enjoy doing? Beautiful. And now very fast. Awesome. Good. So write it again in the chat box. What's coming up for you?
Well, what is our strength? Okay.
What is our strength? Exactly.
What are your strengths, Barbara?
I have discovered that one of my superpower is inspiration. I'm an optimist by nature, and I can share that. I can walk into a room and be like, yes, and I feel like I give people hope, because I have that faith that everything works out, and I think I can transmit that.
There's so many beautiful things there. I hear levity, facilitation and caring, magic and truth, organizing and planning. Yes, we need those people.
Yes, exactly. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Community. My strength is the ability to shift the energy in a room. It's a molecule shifter. That's like the term that I've been given. So yes, I take that on. Yes. Okay. A.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
P. We're on to P.
All right. P. P is passion. So here the move is inspiration. It's an uppercut. Again, a badass move. And change only happens either through desperation or inspiration. So we want to be inspired by our passions. So here we say, I am inspired by my passions.
I'm inspired by
my passion.
I'm inspired by my passion.
I'm inspired by my passion.
I'm inspired by my passion.
I'm inspired by my passion.
I'm inspired by my passion.
I'm inspired by my passion.
Nice. So now think about, what are your passions? And passion is often like a big word, but maybe just what energizes you. What's something that you would go an extra mile for? What's something that you feel you can have an impact? What's something that brings you pleasure and where you really want to spend some time on, and what do you want to call into your life more? Nice. All right. Think about it. Good. Beautiful. Now write it in the chat box. What are you inspired by? What's your passion?
And I'm going to ask you again as people are writing down, what are your passions, Barbara?
I am definitely passionate about bringing your whole best self to work and creating corporate cultures that are conducive to that. Definitely.
Yeah. One of the things that I love is that, that it so consistently rings true for you that is what you're passionate about. And I love that there's like little Barbara Sennrich in Switzerland, at the age of 8, dreamed that that's who she was going to be and what she was going to do. And I just love that you get to be in the expression of that today. My passions are community building. My passion is self-expression and authenticity. So I'm curious to see when others express their truth and I connect and relate to them. That's what Brian shared. So beautiful. So as those come up for you, please write them in the chat so we can see that for you as well. And I always think of resolving what was seemingly impossible. Nita writes, being in service, healing, toggling between independent expression and interdependent collaboration and creation. Yes. Ray wrote dreaming and laughter. I always think also the song of Flashdance, take your passion, and make it happen. Okay, so we have passion. Okay,
awesome.
So
the next one is action, because it's beautiful to recognize your strength. It's certainly great to know what you're passionate about, but if you don't take action, not much is going to come out of it. So the next move is commitment, and you want to reach up high to the sky and really commit to that move. Big, make it big, big statement that you are committed to taking action. I commit to taking action.
Commit to taking action.
I commit to taking action.
Commit to taking action.
I commit to taking action.
Commit to taking action.
Beautiful. And now I want you to think, like, what is maybe one thing that you can do to bring one of your strengths and something that you're passionate about into your daily life? How can you enrich your life, and how can you really show up as your whole best self? What do you need to do? So keep reaching up those arms as you're thinking of just one thing that would really enhance your life by integrating that into your daily life. All right, let's hear.
Woo. This is exercise.
Yes,
You
know, it's good. It's good because it moves the stagnant energy that's within us, that's holding us back. Through the movement, like, we're energizing ourselves, and like we're unlocking what's within us. And that's why this is so great.
I love that there's also like a physical action in connection now to what the goal is, right?
Yeah.
So I'd love to see what actions people are interested in taking. I know Ali was writing about, for her passions, reserving time daily for self-care and self-preservation. Absolutely. Her passions were also dogs. Yes. So Tiffany Brown's action, I think, is reserving time daily to self-care and self-preservation. Absolutely. That is so necessary right now in this moment. One of the things that I've been doing lately, Barbara, one of the things that I really love is singing. And I've been in an exercise of building a deeper relationship to my singing that's not about performance, but about intimacy and vulnerability. I spend 20 minutes a day. I go into the bathroom, which has great acoustics, by candlelight, and I just sing whatever song wants to emerge. And it's been so beautiful just to be in the vibration of my voice and my spirit and my soul, you know, and it's just been a beautiful like self-care practice, but also like a commitment to something that in my New York City, running from subway to subway, I never made time for. So Shannon wrote, practice speaking on camera. Awesome. Yes. Lori, art every day. Heidi, stepping into a bigger brand that I'm comfortable with. Absolutely. Yeah, so please, again, if you feel so inspired, to add onto the chat, and then I think we're ready to move on to the next. So let's refresh. So I is
identity. S is strength.
Yes.
P is passion. A is action.
And I'm ready for R.
Are you ready for R? Okay, R stands for roar.
R is for roar.
Roar, roar.
Roar.
And that's a really, really, really important one. So the movement here is confidence, and it's a double punch. See, there is a lot of punching because I feel like that is really giving us that feeling of I'm a freaking badass and I'm doing it. So I love anything that's related to punching.
Okay.
And here we are saying, I have the courage to roar.
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 All right, I have the courage to roar.
I have the courage to roar.
The courage to roar.
Courage to roar.
Yes, you got it. That's amazing. And it's so important that we roar. That means we have to step out of our comfort zone. We have to do what we haven't done before. So I want you to think about how do you step outside of your comfort zone? And how do you remember that you always have to do what you haven't done before. Just bring that in. And how do you remind yourself, okay, I know what my strengths are. I know what my passions are. I'm committed to taking action, but how can I keep it up so I roar? So I step outside of my comfort zone and I really show the world who I am. I show the world my whole best self, my whole spark. How do I bring that out of me? All right. Good. And now I want all of us to roar together. Roar! Amazing.
I think we need more roars. We need more roars.
You need more roar?
You
All
need
right.
a picture of us roaring, Eduardo, is what you need. You need a picture of that.
But what I want to do before we roar is maybe we just start with like a little purr. So, and then make it a meow, a little bit more courageous. Meow, meow, meow. And then like a friggin' lion, confident. Amazing, amazing. And so here, the action really is like, how can you remind yourself to roar? Like, is it maybe an image? Is it a movement? Is it maybe you want to get up every morning and like you roar in front of the mirror to give yourself that boost so you have the confidence to step outside of your comfort zone every single day and show the world what your spark is?
Awesome. I'm seeing here like, Nita had wrote sharing communication, whether writing strong ideas or images. I wonder what the roar is for that. Ali said, good at bathroom singing, need to put my voice out in the world. What is the roar for that? How we take that purr and turn it into a roar. Reagan says, getting in a big laugh. That sounds roary. Listening to stand-up comic or reading a good joke. I think maybe roaring is trying some stand-up comedy yourself.
Yeah.
Ryan showing up, holding space, and sharing my voice. Yes, roar, roar. And I saw, for Heidi stepping into the big brand that you're comfortable with, like, what is that roar? Like, what is the roar space to step into that becoming? Same thing with you, Shanam, the practice of speaking on camera, right? For Deborah, her roar is to be her full witch, full truth, no apology. Roar! Yeah. Total conscious healing, witch. Yes. What is your roar, Barbara?
My roar is every day I'm journaling and I'm reminding myself of like, what's my spark? Who do I want to be today? But I have to write it down and I have to commit to it. I have to remind myself, because if I don't, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I feel like my yaz is like my it's like
yes.
War. Yeah.
I just used it, Eduardo.
It's true. And there's something about the embodiment, right? Because like your yas comes with a whole full body expression. It's not just like a yes, it's like a yeah. So it's like that full on movement. So I do a lot of intensati and a lot of like this embodiment of expressing my feelings. So that's really the roar.
I love it. Tiffany just wrote, my roar will be staring at myself in the mirror, smiling at myself every morning and saying,
yes.
Tiffany, honey, my request is that you say that right now, and we're going to say it back to you. Yes.
Right. Looking at you guys, looking at me, and I'm saying, I got this.
You got this.
You got this.
You got this.
Great.
All right. Good. So there are 2 more steps.
Yes.
K stands for kindness. And here we'd like tap our heart, tap, like touching our heart, connecting with our heart. And here the affirmation we say is like, kindness takes us higher.
Kindness takes us higher.
Kindness takes us higher.
Kindness takes us higher.
Higher.
Kindness takes us higher.
Kindness takes us higher.
Kindness
Kindness
takes us
takes
higher.
us higher.
Kindness takes us
Kindness
higher.
takes us higher.
Kindness takes us higher.
Beautiful.
Kindness takes us higher. Kindness takes
So
us
keep your
higher.
hands at your heart. Maybe even close your eyes. Because the kindness is key to this process. Because it's easy when we're all in this, all together in this, and we're hyped up and we're energized. We know exactly what it looks like when we're going out there and we roar, but it's not always going to be like this. Often it's hard and we may not feel like it, or like we're having a bad day and we can't control our circumstances. So it's important to really extend kindness to ourselves in this process, because it's an evolving process. And the more we show up as who we are, the more we want to continue that work, but it requires so much kindness. And I love how you guys say you have to make it a priority to invest in self-care, because this is the basis of everything. If we're not kind to ourselves, we're not kind with others. And this is really the key. So feel your heart beating and put a light smile on your face, extending that kindness to yourself. And by extending it to yourself, we will be able to share it with everyone else. Because it is kindness that takes us higher. Breath in and exhale. And because this is called I Spark Our Fire, we're ending on a high with high energy. So I want you to snap, 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 snap your fingers. I want you to say, I spark our fire!
Spark our fire!
Spark our fire!
Spark our fire!
Yes, you are freaking sparking our fire! Awesome. I spark our fire.
Spark, spark,
Spark our fire.
Nice,
spark
good
our
job.
fire.
Awesome.
Yes. Okay, beautiful. So let's grab a seat.
This is it.
Yeah,
This
bravo.
is it.
So I'm curious, as we are, I'm getting off of the, we're now all back together in space. I'm just curious, what emerged for people, if anyone would like to share, like what emerged for them in this process of any new discoveries, any new awakenings, anything that emerged, an opportunity to also ask Barbara a question. So any reflections or anything that people would like to share?
I'm curious why you do the activity with movement.
It is like what I said before, it's a way of getting into your body and out of your mind. Because we're so conditioned to think about things, but through the movement, you feel about it. You feel it, you unlock what's within, you feel it, you feel the emotion that's coming up. It's just really to get out of your head and get into your heart and get into your body and connect with what's within.
Barbara, do you want to speak a little bit about intensati? Because I know people here may not know what intensati is, and it is a practice
Sure.
to get involved in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I teach Intensati. Intensati was founded by Patricia Moreno like 20 years ago. She was definitely ahead of her time. And it's a practice. Inten stands for intention. Sati means mindfulness without judgment. And the idea is that we are conscious co-creators of our own reality by thinking beyond our circumstances and being able to change our state. And our state we change by putting focus on our thoughts, like our intention, what's the intention that we're putting out, and then we align it with our body, so that's where the movement comes in, and then we use the language, so that the positive affirmations to create that state. So by saying, for example, I am strong, and doing this movement and putting the intention into being strong, aligning it with our body movement and our language, that's how we can change our state of mind, and we can take action from a positive place rather than being just a victim of our own circumstances. So it's really like it's a workout. So imagine all these 8 different moves. You would do those like full on as a cardio dance workout, and you would be saying that you say that. So basically you are replacing those negative thoughts that we usually have. Like we have 75,000 thoughts a day, and 99% of those thoughts are negative and are the same all the time. So we're replacing those thoughts with positive thoughts and intention, and we take action in the way we want to go. So that's what Intensati is.
Thank you.
And so it's obviously this approach has been heavily influenced by that, because I have experienced this practice as being so powerful, and it's part of like who I am, and that's what I Spark Our Fire is, right? Who am I, and what's my gift, and what can I bring to the world? And this practice is important to me and has brought huge successes, and so I want to this approach is influenced by it.
And it's so interesting. I've been in spaces where I've been in groups of over 100 people in movement saying these affirmations, and it's mind-blowing. Like the vibration that's happening when you have like all these people saying, I am powerful, I am beautiful, I am sexy, like as they're like also committing the voice to the body, which is also what we do, you know, this embodied speaking. It's really transformational, it's really powerful. Any other emergings or any other discoveries that may have surprised people in this experience? I know Shanam wrote, I need to self-express more. I'm limiting my self-expression. Yeah. Well, how great to be able to get into your body, you know, with these gestures and commit voice to body and movement.
I had a question about the sequence of the affirmations. Do you, if you're doing them like daily or even, I guess even weekly, can you change up the thoughts, or is it good to sort of just focus on the same ideas over and over?
Well, this is specifically like for, I don't do this specifically like every day or even weekly. I mean, this is created specifically for this approach. But like Intensati is, the series are always different and the affirmations are always different. There's always a topic, and then around that there are affirmations.
Oh,
maybe
so
I could even do like
a subset of Insanati that you created for us.
Yes, exactly.
Oh wow! I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
This is my creation. Yeah.
Wow, so it's part of a bigger practice, like a concept, like a practice, the Insanati practice.
So Intensati, like that is like, it's the workout with affirmations and movement that exists. But I have I designed this specific series to my approach. Yeah. So I've created that specifically. Yeah.
I think as a grand finale, we should walk through all of them just to put them all together, just at the end, just to start with, you know, again, identity, passion, what's the S? Again, I forgot. Strength, passion, action, roar, and kindness, right? Like so I think as a grand finale, we'll just walk through that, because I think it is an interesting, if you can put those all together, like to do those movements before you like sit down at your computer to like write that email, or, you know, to do those movements to shift your state when you're feeling also that you're getting a little bit of a dip of energy.
Yeah.
Because your mind is now connected to that gesture, I think that it disrupts, you know, sometimes when we go into those negative self-thoughts and doubts that we have. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd be happy to share those movements and the affirmations with you guys so you can do it.
Yeah. Please. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, are we ready for the grand finale? Yeah.
Well, you were born ready, Eduardo.
I was born ready.
You were born ready. Okay, we need the whole thing.
We may need a little repeat, just reminder, so that we get them. Okay.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. All right, so celebrate. I ignite my spark.
I ignite my spark.
Perfect. Bring it in. my whole best self.
My whole
That
best
is
self.
that. I activate my strength.
I get my strength.
You got it. Uppercuts. I'm inspired by my passion.
By my passion.
Nice. I commit to taking action. Nice. I have the courage to roar.
I have the courage to roar.
Nice. Kindness takes us higher.
Kindness takes us higher.
I spark our fire.
Fire!
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo! Good job.
My Wi-Fi completely cut out. I don't know what sounds I made, but I was committed.
That's good. Maybe the spark like ignited something.
So as we're winding down, and again, what I would love is if people can use the chat to just share quickly, you know, maybe their key takeaway or a breakthrough or discovery that happened on this call, something very tangible and practical that they can use. That would be really helpful. And then Barbara, you know, just an opportunity for, I would love to create the space for you to share because you really roared, right? When you shared your, so I had the privilege of working with Barbara, and we crafted, you know, this greater keynote, and then we did a showcase of that keynote, which we photographed and we videoed, we did the whole thing in Soho. And you could have meowed and you could have purred, but you roared, right? So I'd love to share just because it's worthy of acknowledgement.
Yeah. So when I did this work with Eduardo, in the back of my mind, I thought I was going to quit my job because I felt like I couldn't really do what I was supposed to do and what I wanted to do. Like, I never shared that officially. Like, if anyone's watching now, you know I was going to quit. but I never shared that because it didn't need. But when I did that keynote, I invited my bosses. So my boss is in London, but my boss's boss, she's in the US, and I invited her and a few of the team members because this was really important to me. And independent of whether I was going to quit or not, that was really not the point. The point was this was important to me, and it felt right, and I wanted to share that with them. And so I wanted them to be there.
I just want to check on that. I just wanted to look. So the debut, the first time that you were going to share this 45-minute keynote that you've been working on, like you invited your boss's boss to come and like your colleagues to listen to you. And the thing that was so powerful is there was a part of you that believed that they would never let you do the work that you were that you wanted to do because you didn't have a degree in that. Like your expertise was in something else, but you didn't have the diploma with the degree that said blah, blah, blah. So they wouldn't have considered you. So you roared. Yeah. And then what happened?
At least that's the story I told myself.
Totally. Great.
Right. And then what happened was, like, without knowing anything, like after this event, when they're all there, I had a conversation with my boss's boss, who has, by the way, always been extremely supportive of me. I just want to make sure, like, I also say that. But she said, like, look, this was great, and this is your strength, and you shine, and we want you to create a platform for you, and like we want you to bring this to our company, and so basically I now get to do this work like at the company. And I run a network of culture champions that I'm leading, and we are heavily influencing our corporate culture, and it's really like this dream come true, and it's really amazing. So yeah, so roaring can lead to miracles. Put it out there, and seriously, doors will open up. It's like, put it out there and then it flows. It's really incredible.
So Nita wrote, I love the levity and the responses to each one came so much more quickly in movement. Bravo, Barbara. Deborah says, yes, Ali, truth wins. Because Ali said, confirmation right at the start, my decision to leave dentistry because it takes so much life force energy away from me. I cannot truly speak my truth there. Thank you for your courage. To Brian, it's to be brave. To Lori, I'm excited to see the handout and really think through this. So Barbara's going to send the handout that has the whole thing. So you'll have that as well. That'll go in the email to all of you. Brian, is to be brave. Tiffany, oh, that was Deborah. Oops. Heidi, it feels so good to get out of my head and into my body. Absolutely, I feel you with that. And Brian commenting that he loves the movement combined with the affirmations. So what we're going to do is we're going to send an email to everyone who registered that'll have the information so you can connect with Barbara. It'll also have the PDF with a handout so you can follow this for yourself. Is there anything else that you would like to share, Barbara?
No, I would love to connect. Honestly, I would love to hear like how this is working out for you, and I would love to hear, are you implementing this? Like, are you freaking roaring? Like, I want to hear what you're doing. I would love that. Like, yeah, I want to put my contact details into that email, and I would love to hear from you guys. And also, please do reach out. Like, I'd be happy to, like, we can dive into this a little bit more as well. We can take some more time. Like, it's totally customizable in a way, because it's really applicable. Like, we have to show up as who we are. It doesn't matter in which situation, right? And there is also, of course, I have to say that there's also a second part to it, which is our fire. And that has the same approach to creating our fire. And our fire originally is designed to create a corporate culture, but it doesn't really matter. It can be any type of fire. It can be any type of culture. So there is also this whole second part to it. So happy to also share more information about that.
So thank you so much, Barbara.
Thank you so much.
Sparkleish, Barbara Sennrich. Yeah. You know, this is the first part of a series of 4. So this was the spark. On Tuesday of next week, Tiffany Brown, who's on our call, is going to be talking about shifting and how we shift, pivot. Then on the following Thursday, Amy Noel is going to speak about how you get shit done. She is a get shit done master. And then after that, Zoe Flammenbach will talk about how we bring shine to all that we're creating. So I had sent an email that you had that had all of them, so you can register for all of them. You know, and you know, my request is if there's somebody who you feel would love to be in this type of conversation, forward the email to them, invite them. We would love, you know, to just continue to expand the space of this positivity, this joy, and this light. There was a ritual that we did at the close of our Fearless 4 session that I would like to bring in now as a new ritual within which to close together. Before we do that, I just want to express my gratitude for all of you. I know there's a lot of stuff, you know, and your choice to spend this hour with us today is very meaningful and so moving and beautiful to see all of your faces. So what we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge a person in the room, and we're just going to say, I see you and thank you. And then you're going to pass it on to somebody else. So did I do that right, Deborah? Okay, great. So I'm going to start. Barbara, I see you and thank you.
Thank you.
So
I'm going to pass it on to Tiffany. I see you and thank you.
I see you and I thank you.
Lori, I see you and I thank you.
Which Lori?
Oh, Lori M. But I see all the Loris.
Lori F, I see you and I thank you.
Thank you. I see you, Lori, and I see you, Brian. And Allie, I see you. Thank you. So nice to see you again.
Thank you. Deborah, I see you and I thank you so much.
Nita, I see you and I thank you.
Brian K, I see you and I thank you.
Eduardo, I see you and I thank you.
Thank you, Izzy. I think is Brian, I think you get to choose too.
Yes, Aria, I see you and I thank you. You're on mute.
I don't think we can hear you, Aria. So Aria, we see you and we thank you. There's a gentleman with an iPhone. I don't see your name. I just unmuted you.
Okay, my name is Thornton. I see you all and I thank you.
Awesome. And then Shanam, I don't think we've done you, right?
Yeah.
Would anyone like to acknowledge Shanam?
Shanam, I see you and I thank you.
Thank you. And
You get all the love, Shanam.
I know I got a lot more.
Heidi and Haley have yet to go.
Haley is here to go. Okay, so Haley, let me get to your picture. Haley, I see you and I thank you.
I'm actually Patty.
Haley?
Patty.
Patty.
I'm a secret person today. I can't see everyone, but I'm going to shout it out to my good friend Barbara. I see you, I love you, and I thank you.
Thanks, Patty.
And I think Heidi is left.
Well, Heidi, I see you and I thank you.
Thank you. And I think did Colleen, I see Colleen and thank her.
And I can hear that Colleen's on another phone call. She's multitasking, but I can hear her. She's my roommate. And I know she sees all of you and she thanks all of you.
If we can just take a moment, we're just going to do a quick little screenshot. So if you can just smile, everyone. Here we are. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much for being a part of iSpark All Fire #1. Fearless Chat 14. Next week on Tuesday, #15 with Tiffany Brown. So grateful for you. Thank you so much. We are going to keep the room open for a couple minutes. You know, so if you feel like sometimes it's a hard close and everyone's like, what happened? There's no cuddling. We'll be present, to cuddle and let us wind down.
Cuddling shouldn't happen in the workplace. I'm just a thing.
Social distancing.
I'm sorry, the HR guy comes out sometimes.
I got it. So thank you again so much, and we can't wait till we have the privilege to share space with you again. Always remember to fear less, speak free, and love more.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
everybody.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank
So
you.
much.
Thank you, Barbara. Barbara, just stay on for a
Thank you.
second.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, Allie.